Welcome back to my channel. Big news, 3 new followers, so that's awesome. Thank you for those of you that started following me. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm up to 40 followers, so that's pretty fucking cool to me. Anyway, so yeah, so this video, it's the dust collection and the ductwork video. We're gonna start with the ductwork, then we're gonna finish with the dust collection. Not a whole lot to go, talk about what we're going to talk about. Pretty simple. My only bitch. So here's my problem with most things. One, the ductwork is Nordfab. It didn't come with any instructions from my supplier. You may get it from yours with instructions, but I didn't get one. I got a pencil sketch, a notepad sent through a text message. But with the dust collection, so it's an expensive system, and the pictures are just awful. So you're reading it, it's like tab A into slot A1 into B1 AC. It's like very, very fucking confusing. Then you look at the pictures and it's so blacked out. You can't see what's what between the screw and the hole and the background and the nut and the wash. It's just, I wish that people that did that, like manufacturers or companies, like, hey, for $5, we will send you, like for a $5 upcharge, we will color print your instruction book so you can see what the hell it is we're talking about. I understand, like not everyone wants that. It's very confusing to me. Once it was together, super simple. The instructions made total sense once my brain actually wrapped itself around the idea of like what it was doing. But putting it together for the first time, it was kind of a struggle bus because I basically put it together and had to take it apart. But yeah, we'll get into that during the video. Let's see. So yeah, this is going to be the last video of putting together my shop because everything after this is done. The ductwork has been done. Ductwork's been done for probably a couple weeks now. I was just lazy about patching a hole, but I did that. So now that that is patched, now I can put out a video. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So next we're going to be working on some projects. Actually, I'm actually going to use my garage and this channel to actually build projects, not just how to build up a garage. That's a one-off to me. But yeah, let's get into the video and then I will see you in the end.
Always a good day when the FedEx truck shows up, because when you spend lots of money on these packages, sometimes it takes, a couple days or a couple weeks for them to get delivered. So it's like Christmas every time they show up. So when they show up with a big ass box, you know that you have a lot of work in store. FedEx guy was super cool, brought everything to the back of the garage, no questions asked.
You want me in the box?
There were lots of little parts in the bottom of the box. I could have just took the whole box, cut it in half, but I decided to let my boys help me out. So with their assistance, I chucked them into the box, and then they gave me all the smart parts, like the O-rings and the clamps and the clips and some piping and some tubes, and some Ys and all the stuff I couldn't reach. I mainly got all the big pipes out by myself, but they were very helpful and very eager to get into the box and hand me all the rest of the stuff.
You gotta jump, ready? Jump down safe. Big jump. Yeah. Head down. Jump.
You okay?
Yeah.
My shop is a 30 by 50. What I need to do now is figure out where all that wood or metal right there. It's over the back anywhere. I need to figure out where the metal goes. It's 30 wide, 50 deep. I don't care about the deep. 12-foot tall ceilings, but at the apex it's about 15. So right here, you barely see it. There's a pole right here. Hold on, tape measure. See that pole right there? All right. That pole is going to support some ductwork. It doesn't need it. I'm going to put another one dropping down by the table saw end over there. So I need to figure out how long my runs need to be. I think I have enough. I don't know. I just given dimensions and they sent me lots and lots of pieces. So there's no instructions for this shit. So I'm kind of just making it up. And I've never done Nordfab ducting before. So yeah, I'm guessing I want my original ductwork, or not my original, I want my ductwork to go pretty much to the gusset there. So that's about right there. So my first piece is going to be about 8 feet long. If I go all the way to the wall, that gets my first piece at 9 and a couple inches. So I'm going to do my first piece on the floor, do my drop down, come over, do my drop down, and come over. The reason this is in the way, because that's how I'm installing everything. I'm just going to use that to put everything together, because instead of getting on a ladder trying to reach 13 feet in the air, I'm just going to climb on that and just slap it up there. So I got a couple of hangers. I don't know how far apart they should be. They gave me 4, so I'm guessing for 30 feet, every, what's 30 divided by 4? Almost 8 feet. So that's 32. Simple math. Yeah, so we'll see how it works. First pipe's going right here. Roughly, yeah, about right there. So pipe. I guess the first pipe might as well connect it that. Let's go. The first one. I'm guessing this is a 7-inch. That is not a 7-inch. What is this? Oh, this will go down to my joiner planer, I'm guessing. That's not gonna work. I need 2 7-inch wires. I don't have that. That fits. That's going over there. The end of that piece. Floor sweep goes over here, where the floor sweep's gonna live. Let me call him. I gotta call the manufacturer. Okay, I'm an idiot. Apparently I don't know how Ductwork goes. That's why I hired people, and then I called them, and yeah, everything's good to go. So my thought was my trunk line 7 inches because I have the Oneide 7-inch outlet. I thought my 7-inch was going to be the entire trunk line, but we're talking to them, they're like, no, you have bad flow, blah, 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 blah. So it goes 7-inch from the wall, pretty much all the way to my first drop for my joiner planer. Then it reduces to 6, going to my table saw. Then it goes down to 5, going over to my bandsaw, and the drop down would be 4 for like my bandsaw and my floor sweep. So that makes total sense. I actually have all the parts I need for that. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing because I've done PVC before, and just the other like rolled pipe you get from like Home Depot. It's a ducting for AC and stuff in the attic. So yeah, that makes total sense. It reduces. I didn't know that. He sent me a little SketchUp that he drew on a piece of paper, so that's easy to follow for where all my stuff is. It'll be a little bit tricky once I get to that back wall and moving everything to angle it down and angle it in through the wall to get to the dust collector. But yeah, so that makes total sense. So now I know what I'm doing. And they say about every 10 feet, you have a hanger. So my building's 30 feet wide, so they gave me 4 hangers for that. So I'm going to tack those up and start installing some ductwork. I probably won't get to all of it today because I probably have to go feed my family and feed my kids because they need food and they're 2 and 3. So they can't, make their own food because that's bad parenting. Just to leave them in the kitchen with a stove. So yeah. That's my plan. So I'm going to knock this out, get some of it put together, at least get my trunk line hopefully done tonight. Then I'll do all my drops and everything else later on. I still have to hang a second pole for, holding the duct. It doesn't need it, but I have it. So I said, screw it, might as well use it. Yeah, so that's the plan. I'm going to get all this buttoned up and we'll see. All right, let's start the time lapse.
The part of this was just trying to figure out how everything was supposed to go. I kind of had an idea of where I wanted things, but until you get all the parts laid out, it's kind of a crapshoot.
The problem is, and this is the issue, because if you do it like this, when you put the clamp on, it raises them up. So then when they put together, they actually have a gap. So they fit nice and flush like this, but as soon as you put the clamp into there, now you got that gap right there. So That's the only tricky part about this, is removing that gap and make sure everything is nice and tight, but it's not the hardest. It just takes a little bit of finesse. But it's a lot better than dealing with PVC and all that crap, so get it lined up roughly, seat it in there. Yep, fell off. And the next thing is there's an O-ring inside here, so when it actually does click into place, you'll feel the tension kind of like give way, so it actually snaps through. Because if it's not actually in the right spot, you'll go pull it down, or snap that lock down, then you'll have like a bunch of tension. And once it's popped in the right place, the tension goes away. So that's it.
And here we are putting on the last section of pipe for the main trunk line. So this clip is only about 20 seconds long at this part, but I mess with these clamps for probably a good minute and a half to 2 minutes for each one, trying to get them attached. So it was kind of frustrating, but eventually they all got together.
There you go. Good job. Way to go. I mean, on the bright side, at least my tabletop isn't set permanently, so I can actually adjust it based on where these fall out at. That's good. Enough. Probably a little bit behind. He's coming down some down there. Figure that later on. Okay. Okay, so now that my main line is up, now I gotta do some trimming. I don't know why I didn't do it to begin with. I figured it'd be easier to get the trunk line up, then trim everything down. So that's not gonna work in the corner, because I have to put this 90 on it, and then that's gonna go down to the edge like that. Then I'm gonna have another 7-inch pipe going that way. Then I'm gonna punch a hole through the wall to go to the dust collector. Again, not a problem. But that's flush against the wall, so I can't really put this on there. And also, as you see, that drop for my joint planer is right here. So this is where they are going to be. This is where the plumbing is, or for the electricity. That's where they're going to be. So that needs to come over whatever feet this is. Dust collector for the tabletop, again, is going to get moved over as well. Because that trunk line there needs to get shortened up. How much? I actually don't know. So I heard the rule is you basically take 4 inches off of what you need. So I'm gonna measure over here, 4 inches. I'm just gonna cut that off and slap it together. So that's the plan. Problem is, if you make a cut too short, you can't add more metal to it. So you kind of have to be good with what you're measuring. And I'm not. So we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully it doesn't all blow up in my face, because it's a very expensive system and I don't want to buy more parts because I'm dumb. But I probably will, because I'm dumb. So yeah, let's do it.
And here we are, we're just installing the drop down for the joiner and planer. But of course I have to move everything over using the chop saw. Some people use a jigsaw. This is just easier for me. Yeah, it may mess up my blade, but it's okay. It's thin metal, so the little ratchet strap there, very helpful to hold the pieces, because I didn't have all the hangers.
Okay, so with the new Nordfab system, I'm not sure if it's new or whatever, but this is what my guy gave me. He didn't give me any couplers. So what he said was basically cut down the pipe that you need, the length, add 2 inches, then fit the cutoff piece into like the elbow or the sleeve. I can't fit it into here, but it does fit fine into the elbows. So I think I just attached that with the clasp, and then this is whatever. So I'd put the rubber gasket and everything else. It works. It's just not pretty, but it does work.
Two people would really be helpful, one to help support it and one to actually install it, but I didn't have 2 people, so I did what I did.
It looks janky because what it looks like. It doesn't look like I have it installed correctly. Maybe the problem isn't the angle of the trunk line. Maybe the problem is this thing is not on correctly. I'm gonna have to go and adjust these all with a laser at the end of the day, but I think for right now, that's okay. How's that? Is that straight-ish?
So when you put these on, the O-ring goes over the, pipe that you cut, then that slides into the elbow or the bracket or whatever. Then the other clamp connects those together, one on the O-ring, half on the O-ring, and the half on the elbow or joint or whatever, if you want to call it that. Here we have the actual dust collector coming in. So if you notice in some of the earlier videos, all these boxes were already there. I decided to put all the ductwork together.
It's a big bitch.
In one part, then the dust collector together. I'm not saying I'm important or anything else like that, but when you spend $5,000 for a dust collector, you expect this not to be how you receive it. So I wrote the company. We'll see what they say. But yeah, came out of the box like that. So kind of messed up. Here we are. We're just putting together the last little bits of the dust collector. Now it's not obviously going to stay here, but when putting this flange on, spray some WD-40 around it, and it makes it slide on and off so much easier than trying to muscle on and dry friction. It barely fits in there with the tube, so obviously you have to cut it some, but we actually raised it up a little bit just to make it easier to get in and out. Of course, once it's all assembled, you have to disassemble it because it can't stay in here, and I have to take it to the shed in the back. It was just me, so I decided to lift it out. Not an easy thing to do. It's very heavy, very awkward. Then all was left to do is move it to the shed.
Yes, it does.
Fuck me.
What you making, a deer feeder?
No, this is the dust collector.
Uh-huh.
A dust collector. For woodworking. Yeah. It's a giant vacuum system.
Oh.
Yeah, so I built the shed to house this.
Yeah, I'm thinking, what is it? Looks like a deer feeder.
Yeah, I know, right? With the bottom of the cone. This is where a second pair of hands would have been nice, or the foresight of bolting on the top part, because it's a tight fit. I was able to get it in there, but as I lowered it down, I didn't check for my clearances and my tolerances, and that lip on the filter caught a part of the metal part on top of the dust collector and made it fall. Drilling in the holes. So this is just a simple bit I bought from Amazon, 7-inch, the tube 7-inch. Thought it'd be a good idea. This bit, I'm not gonna leave a link because it was just absolutely horrible. It was supposed to be a wood and metal bit. It went through the OSB relatively okay, But once we got around to the backside in the metal, it just got as dull as it could be. Like, it won't even cut OSB anymore. So definitely don't recommend doing that. But it was nice to get everything centered in this. And all right, now we're gonna go on to the outside of the garage and cut a hole from the other side. And I probably worked on this hole on this side for probably, I don't know, probably 15 minutes, realizing I'm not getting anywhere. So realizing that wasn't gonna work, decided to, talk about, well, should we jigsaw it or whatever? But we're like, well, it's gonna be a tight fit, so let's just work with what we have. So took an angle grinder and decided just to cut out a square. That way we have a little bit of wiggle room as we fit the piping in and out of it.
Maybe, I don't know. Overrun the corners a little bit.
I did. Tried punching it through from the front. It didn't work, so I punched it through from the inside. Worked like a champ.
You okay?
Yeah. Thumbs up. Jackass.
And just took a simple drywall knife and just cut out the foam. Just cleaned up the hole a little bit. As you can see, there's a big gap right there from where the spray foam stops and my insulation or my OSB is. So when we fill it out in the end, the spray foam, all that's gonna get filled up. So it'll be very nice. So just cutting back and forth. So this isn't very challenging or hard right here. It's just a lot of back and forth, trying to fit everything where it needs to be and make sure everything's kind of lined up. Your pipe went in between the two ribs on the outside wall. So here we are, we're just kind of like test fitting, make sure everything's good to go. And there's a little bit of trimming back and forth that we have to do, but overall it wasn't really that challenging of a job. It's definitely easier to have somebody on the outside of the garage. That way they can tell you if it's lined up and whatnot. So there's a lip right there that's catching on because there's ribs.
Put the pipe through it, attaching it to the pipe, then elbowing up. So the elbow's actually gonna start like right here.
That work for you? Shorten that one up there a little bit, right?
Yeah, I have to shorten that piece, but it's fine. They're modular. You could do that to them.
All right, here's just a little hose clamp, just holding on just for time being while we get everything figured out. The best way to do this is literally just take some self-tapping metal screws and screw the flange onto the actual dust collector. I thought it'd be a more elegant way of putting this on, but yeah, just 2 or 3 screws ended up holding it really tight. It didn't shift at all, because once you get around to the other side from where I'm drilling now, I mean, you have less than probably 1/4 inch of space to drill into. So 2 or 3 screws is pretty much all you need for this. And then covering everything else up with some, I forgot what kind of tape it is. It's basically used for insulation and like duct work, but super strong. It's metal adhesive, really strong. It works. Then came the fun job of putting it back in the garage.
No, don't lift. Thank you.
Talk about pivoting in, so it's a lot easier to drop it in like that. Then once it's in there, we could shimmy it across the floor.
Thanks.
Lock it in place.
Yep.
Skim it up.
Yep. Oh yeah, smart.
All right, here we are. We're just, trimming out some more of wall on the outside. As you notice, I am very cautious about safety, so safety third. Then I have my glasses on for the first one. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of shavings in my face. So decided to get some safety goggles for the second part because, well, I didn't want to go blind trying to install this. Once everything was pretty much buttoned up for the ductwork and stuff, had to go do the wire. So it's a 3-wire coming out of the dust collector, but it's a 10-3 wire. So it's 4-wire coming out of the dust collector, but 3-wire for the 10-3, or 3-wire out of the dust collector, and then 4-wire for the 10-3 wire. So I'm not sure how he did it. He just hooked a couple wires together, spliced everything, and made everything work just nice. And now, with it wired up, it's time to test the system.
Yep.
Then the only other thing to do was really just cover the patch, the giant hole that I cut in my garage. So just got a square, a little bit bigger than the hole. Took this dull ass, circle cutting bit, and then that just gave me an outline. So now I knew how big it needed to be. Cut it in half at the table saw. Took it over to the bandsaw and just nibbled away, trying to get all the things out. I have a 3/4 inch blade on here, so it's not really the best for this, but it did the job. Then after that was roughly cut out, I took it over to the spindle sander and then just cleaned up all my lines. Just went to the line. I just went back and forth to the table or to the wall, to the wall sander, just trying to get it nice and snug. And then put spray foam all around it, inside outside, so every time there's a crack that I could fit the nozzle into, I just sprayed it, and then wait for it to come out and wait for it to dry, and then come back and just scrape it off. It's so much easier to clean it up when it's hard than trying to smear it away when it's still setting.
Okay, so that's my dust collection ductwork video. That concludes basically, like, we're done with building up the garage. There may be some one-off projects, like I'm going to do a folding ladder eventually and stuff like that, but the big stuff is all done. So now I can actually start building projects. I highly recommend you don't try lifting all that by yourself. You can tear out your back. That was not safe. But I'm a big guy and I'm not that smart, so I'm a big dumb animal. Yeah, so this is a nice table. If you want to see this table, it's a workbench for a friend. You can't, because I didn't film any of this, but I could build this again for myself. Probably won't, but yeah, that's an option. If you have any ideas for things you want me to build for you, or how I would build them, let me know, because I'm open to ideas for what to build on this channel. Like, I have good ideas, but let me know what you think. Or don't, whatever, I'm not your supervisor. You can do what you want. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, again. And I will see you guys when I see you. All right.